Now, talking about the path that this is going to cover, like travel, coming in Oregon, heading out of South Carolina, it is also going to cover, go over fault lines, two fault lines, and also Yellowstone National Park, where the world's biggest uh, volcano sits. Okay, well, the so as you see here in this major fault lines in the U.S., you not only have California that sits on a fault line, but right where the heartland of America sits, where that moon is gonna hit its totality, sits the Madrid fault line. Okay, and right where it exits, South Carolina. Okay. So another thing that is beautiful about all this is the next solar eclipse that is going to be seen by America is only 7 years after August 21st, 2017, which would be April 8th, 2024 is when they expect it. 7 years after. And it's going to cross the same spot. And if this was a body of a dragon, where would its heart sit? Okay? So now, there's also two rivers that form a Y, or just like in the Hebrew, a Yah, at the same spot where both these moons are going to meet, their totality. Also, where the Madrid fault lines, also it being shaped like a dragon, where would the heart sit? So just like I was saying, in the blood moons, there was a Yah. The Yah originally in Hebrew was an arm looking like a Y. A Yah. An arm, a closed hand. Work, throw, worship. Today they call it a Yud in modern Yiddish. And the meaning of it, in the Hebrew, the word Yah means he. But the definitions for that, for the Yah, would be work, throw, or worship. The work is us getting, fulfilling the prophecies, coming to understanding who we are. The throw is Esau and all the other heathens are going to be thrown out of their heaven. And worship, because once we get into power, every living creature is going to worship Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai. Everything that exists is going to be in order to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai. And this is the blood moon map that I was showing you. That's the hand of the Most High right in the judgment of Esau. 913, that's a Yah, which is the word. Rosh Hashanah is their day of their trumpet, but they use our shofars. They say that they're the people of the book, but it's us. So it's just like in Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar's son was using our vessels that we use to serve the Most High. He was using them for his pleasures, for his wife's pleasures, for his concubine's pleasures. Just like now, our bodies are a vessel for the Most High, and all these other heathens are using our bodies for their pleasure, our labors for their pleasure. Also, with our traditions. They took our traditions away and gave us heathen traditions. Even if you follow the Jewish, they're off. This ain't even the right days, the feast days. So it's the same thing. They're using our shofars. They're using our land. They're in our land, claiming to be us. And the Most High wrote the judgment on the wall that their destruction is set in stone. It must happen. There's no negotiating. It must happen. Okay, and I'm in Daniel 5, verse 30, to see what the judgment, what was carried out. Daniel 5, verse 30. In that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. He was put to death for using the cups that the children of Israel used to serve the Most High. Just like our Sabbath day is used against us. Just like our women are used against us. Just like our tradition that we're supposed to be keeping through the commandments. Our holidays, our holy days, they're not holidays, they're holy days, are used against us. But his judgment was written on the wall by the hand of the Most High, and he was put to death. His whole family was eventually destroyed. This is Obadiah 1, verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? So he's saying that as a question, like, shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, who are the so-called Caucasians today, and understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men of Teman shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. By slaughter. 1831, Nat Turner kind of slaughter. That's what's coming. Just like Belshazzar was put to death, he was slaughtered. He was slain. He was killed. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captives, his forces and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Verse 13. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. Yet thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done. Unto thee thy reward shall return upon thy own head. The Spirit just has me keep going. Verse 16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yeah, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But, verse 17, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Right? This is beautiful. And call Halal Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them, and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. His judgment has already been written. And Esau and all the other heathens must be thrown out of heaven, out of their place of power, and Israel must be righteously crowned as the children of Israel. Okay? As the sons of Yahweh. Because that's the only way that righteous will reign on this earth. And all the signs we have the RFID chip. We have it's already came out in Wisconsin. You have North Korea already talking nukes. ICBM. Donald Trump just last night said he'll nuke the shit out of Korea, which will just set off a World War III. So everything's in place. Everything's in place. Now I know the signs and wonders are for those that do not believe. For the scripture is for those that believe, that have faith. Because hearing the word, that builds your faith. Faith comes from hearing the word. But, this is just through the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, and I pray that if you're able to understand it and receive it, may you absorb it. And may you brothers that are the elect and sincerely push through this time of Jacob's trouble that's upon us. Because what this blood moon is the sealing of that judgment. He wrote it with the blood moons, but then he's sealing it with this eclipse, solar eclipse. This is the seal. It's finished. It's done. Of this judgment. He's going to carry out this judgment, but it begins with Jacob's trouble. Just like this ring of America has its seal, because it's engraven, you see. So if you put hot wax and you let it cool down a little bit, you'd be able to press that in, and it would leave that imprint. Well, the Most High has His seal, and it's that ring of fire. It's a diamond ring to the elect of Israel and the 1/3, but it's a ring of fire for the rest of the heathens and the 2/3. Just like this ring left that imprint and that wax. Okay, so this could actually go on forever, because honestly, if you start to go in any direction, it keeps going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it with this. But this is not only the Most High's hand writing the judgment with the ring of authority on his middle finger, but also these are the moons, which we're supposed to be following. The children of Israel are supposed to be watching the moon, see what they do because of the new moons. That's the beginning of our new moon and the new Sabbath. But also, the Most High's fingerprint is on each and every one of these, including on the solar eclipse. Because there's a thing called God's fingerprint that has been discovered, and it's in everything. So, not only do you have the judgment being written, the authority, the ring of fire for the heathens, but also the diamond ring for the wedding of the bride, which is the elect of Israel. and the 1/3, but you also got the Most High's fingerprints all over this. Okay, so this is I'm gonna just show you this real quick so you get an idea of what it is.
Individuality, the trademark of any artist, designer, or architect. Each desires a uniqueness to their creation, a quality that separates it from any other. Man naturally has this individuality, his fingerprint. There are 6.5 billion people on the face of the earth, and no two fingerprints are the same. Everything we touch or make contact with is branded with a small expressed image revealing to all who see it who was there. Around 1200 AD, a man named Leonard Pisano, better known as Fibonacci, discovered a sequence of numbers that created a very interesting pattern. The sequence begins with the numbers 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and continues indefinitely. Each number is obtained by adding the last two digits together. A rectangle with the length and width of any two of the numbers of this sequence forms what is known as the golden rectangle, a perfect rectangle. A golden rectangle can be broken down into squares the size of the next Fibonacci numbers down and below. If we were to take a perfect or golden rectangle, break it down into smaller squares based on Fibonacci's sequence, and divide each with an arc, the patterns begin to take shape. We begin to see Fibonacci's spiral. The spiral in and of itself is insignificant. Its importance is revealed in where we find it. Take, for example, the sunflower. The display of its florets are in perfect spirals of 55, 34, and 21. The sequence of Fibonacci. The fruitlets of the pineapple create the same spiral based on the sequence. The pine cone does the same. As currents move through the ocean and the tide rolls onto the shore, the waves that bring in the tide curve into a spiral that can be mathematically diagrammed onto a plot at the points 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and 55. Buds on trees, sand dollars, starfish, petals on flowers, and especially the nautilus shell are formed with this exact same blueprint. With each segment of growth, the nautilus adds to itself one more value on Fibonacci's scale. This blueprint can be seen around us on a small scale every day, but the greatest example of all is directly above our heads. At an average of 100,000 light years across, even the spiral of the galaxies above us are formed with the exact design that the tiny shell is formed. This sequence or blueprint appears to be the trademark of a designer, a proof of a creator, something left behind, indicating the one who was.
This is Revelation 6, verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Shalakia, this is verse 16, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Only the elect, because he has sanctified them. He made them righteous through his son, Yahushai. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But with that, brothers, I pray that you endure and know that the kingdom is nigh at hand. It's close. It's not far away. It's not up in the stars. It's right here. It's right. It's present. The scriptures is the kingdom. That's why the commandments, when you start to take on the commandments and start to practice them, you're taking on in the kingdom. You're actually dwelling in the kingdom right there, because that's how the kingdom's gonna function, is according to the commandments. Brothers, shalom.